What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.
The Catholic Morning Show.
So wonderful to have you with us, friends. Summer is going along, and we want to make sure to get the most out of our summer. We mostly think about vacation or who all we're going to see, but of course, there's still the question of how do we get the most out of our encounter with Jesus Christ in the summertime, even if we're out of our normal, as it were, schedule. So to talk about that, we're bringing on Emily Jaminet, who comes on every month to talk to us, and so we are happy to have her with us. Emily, thanks for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to get to talk about summer because we're still in the middle of summer.
I think, and forgive me, I think I might have said 3 ways. What we want to talk about is 5 ways. So 2 bonus ways to keep Christ at the center of your summer. So what's the first way that we can start to imagine how to keep Christ at the center?
Well, the first way is invest in faith-filled friendships. And I think that might be a little shocking for some of us, but this is a great time to begin thinking about, who are the people that I turn to in my life? Where are the voices of influence? And, where do I stand with friendship examples? So, just looking for those faith-filled friendships, investing in those relationships. And the one suggestion I have from my book called The Friendship Project is Friendship Friday. So, meet a friend for Mass, get some coffee, maybe after work, set a time to go for a walk or visit the Blessed Sacrament together, but spending some time cultivating friendship. And if you think about Friendship Friday, it also gives you an opportunity to reach out to others, to pray for them. And I'm doing a book club with my own daughter and a bunch of high schoolers, and we're studying the book together. So we're also investing in faithful friendship and strengthening the relationship with our daughters as well.
Okay, so you got that on your summer calendar out there, friends. Friendship Friday, but that still doesn't mean that it's the most important part of the week. In order to keep Christ at the center, how should we make Sunday the highlight of our week?
What a great point. And I'm really glad that it is, you said it's the most important, because making sure we get to Mass is a priority for us as Catholics, even if we are on a family vacation, for example, or traveling with our kids' sports. So just before you go traveling on vacation or, travel sports, say, where's the local Catholic church? Looking up masstimes.org, looking up in the bulletin and making sure that those times reflect the times that you thought that the Mass was taking place, and not seeing it as I have to, but I get to, and teaching that to our children as well. And, my family, we've benefited so much from meeting the locals at Mass as we go about our summer travels, but also being willing and welcoming to those with license plates outside the area. So it's a great way to make Sunday the highlight of your week.
Folks, we all want to make sure to establish a rhythm with prayer, but it can seem hard to do here in the middle of summer because we're out of rhythm with everything else. But that's why we're talking with Emily Jaminet, talking about 5 ways to keep Christ at the center of your summer. So, Emily, how do we use the summer to rediscover that rhythm?
Well, our family personally is a little bit out of whack with all the college kids home, all the children at home, but making sure we slow down and get our personal prayer time in. I was just telling a mom at a field hockey event yesterday that yes, it's important that we do go to Mass, but it's also important that we establish these prayer routines in our home, such as praying the morning offering together, praying, a prayer before you get in the car and head out the door in the morning, making sure that we bless our food and that we end our day in prayer. I can't tell you just how awesome it is as the sun is going down to gather your family and to pray the Holy Rosary. So if you're hiking, if you're out and about, if you're traveling, or if you're just going about your day, always acknowledging the Lord. And what it really does cultivate is a spirit of gratitude.
Well, gratitude in prayer and, of course, putting the Lord first in our life through prayer. But also, how is it in summer that love of neighbor and making sure that we have in mind others when, again, we can get very wrapped up in what we're doing? How can that make building stronger relationships through hospitality and service underline making Christ the center of our summer?
As we talk about the hecticness sometimes of the summer schedule, we need to stay rooted in always thinking about others. And this is a great season of hospitality, such as having, a little mini potluck, having some families over. Maybe there's a new family that just became Catholic at Easter and you've been thinking about reaching out to them. Now is a great time to extend that hospitality. But then also it's a great time to notice service. Maybe there's an elderly person in your neighborhood that just can't get on top of their yard, and saying, we'd love to come over and spend some time picking those weeds and helping you. And so, it could even be your local parish needing some extra service as festival season is right around the corner. So giving of your time, your talent, your treasure, and building these relationships through the gift of hospitality.
Well, and especially in summer, maybe it's a good time to reevaluate things like screen time or some of the things that eat up our attention and the time we have for other people. Maybe it's precisely in the summer that is a good time to reconsider the impact and how much that eats up our calendar.
I'm really glad you brought up screen time, because for us as Catholic parents, especially, it's so easy to just turn on the TV or hand a child a device and think that they're having some spiritual rest or even just rest in general or relaxation. But I really challenge all of us to reconsider how we approach our day with leisure and rest, and making sure that, first of all, we get a good night's sleep, we go to bed at a good time. As I mentioned, those prayer routines, such as praying as a family at the end of the day, but also setting that standard of saying, you know what, this is a screen-free week. We're going to detox from all of this outside noise so that we can hear God and we can spend more time in the fun of spending, as we mentioned, kickball, going to the pool, having fun. And I just noticed recently, my brother is a Catholic priest, and I said, I feel like that verse from Matthew 11:28-30 keeps following me, because we've heard it twice now in the readings. Come to me, all who labor and burdened, and I will give you rest. And I think that's important that we evaluate, are we resting? Are we seeking the kind of rest the Lord wants to give us? And, are we also experiencing the joy that comes from doing the will of God? So that joy comes, from noticing nature and the smile on a child's face and giving of ourselves. And so staying connected to the sacraments, staying connected to the faith makes such a big difference.
You out there listening know exactly what can happen when we maybe become busy with rest, right? Like, so we want to go on vacation. We want to make summer very wonderful for our kids. And so we become anxious about the very thing that's supposedly a break from anxiety. We become really hard at work in order to play. One of the things we're talking about with Emily Jaminet today about making Christ be the center of your life is that rest is not only good for you, but it's holy as well. So, Emily, I know that you've talked about already why it's important to make rest one of the centerpieces of your life for the opening a place for Jesus. But as it were, the theology of it, right? The basis of our religion, that rest is holy, the Sabbath days, things like this. What is it about what Jesus himself says that makes it where rest is not for us to maybe get to if we have a chance, but is central to what it means to be someone who loves Jesus and has the true virtue of religion in their hearts?
Yes. And, when the Lord invites us to come to him, he doesn't say, come to me when you have it all figured out, right? Come to me when there's order in your family and you're on top of your schedule, or, that you've overcome those vices and sins. Instead, he's really longing for us to have an open heart. And I think so, what's been most impactful in my own family is having that image of the Sacred Heart throughout my home, because his heart is exposed and wanting us to just respond love for love. So recognizing that the Lord loves you, he sees you right where you're at. It's a matter of us being open to the graces so that transformation can take place. But oftentimes, like we mentioned, we can just pick up our phone, we can just get in the busyness of life. And if we aren't willing to carve out that time for rest, for prayer, for reflection, for even focusing on the gifts of our life, we can really just gloss right over it and miss that opportunity. So our faith is, I call it the green season. As we know, we're in ordinary times. This is an amazing time to see God in nature, to come to him in the sacraments, to come time before him in the Blessed Sacrament, and even in the midst of our travel and our busy schedules as it relates to summer.
We've been speaking with Emily Jaminet about the 5 ways to keep Christ at the center of your summer. So 1, invest in faith-filled friendships. 2, make Sunday the highlight of your week. 3, rediscover the rhythm of prayer. 4, build stronger relationships through hospitality and service. Number 5, embrace holy rest. Emily, for those listening out there, what would you say is a practical through line? If they're thinking, okay, this is all great, and I'm going to keep these 5 points, as something that's going to help me keep Christ at the center for the rest of my summer. What is something immediately that they can start doing in the next week to really live out these 5 principles?
I think it comes from our waking moment. That first moment sets kind of the rhythm of the day. So setting your alarm, even if it's in the midst of summer, giving yourself an extra 10 minutes to begin that day in prayer and, saying, where am I going to pray tomorrow morning? That's a great question at the end of the day. Am I going to sit in my favorite chair? Do I want to, sit on the patio and watch the birds and have that experience? So you have a plan to move forward. And we know, Bo, that when we have a plan, the family has a plan, and these things happen. You can't just assume they're going to happen. Even like we mentioned, traveling and going about on vacation, making sure we know we're going to go to Mass, and then communicating that expectation with all the individuals in your home so that there's really the fruit of peace and understanding as well.
Well, Emily Jaminet, you come by every Wednesday giving us insights like this. If people want to find out more, and especially with what you're up to, where can they go find more of your work?
Sure. To discover the love of the Sacred Heart and the ministry work I do, visit welcomeisheart.com, or to learn more about my travels and adventures as a Catholic author, visit emilyjaminet.com as well.
Well, as always, we appreciate it. Emily Jaminet, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.
What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.